Okay, so I believe you can kind of see the tree and this graphic all at once.
Yes, see both.
Yeah, I think yeah. Hide that down. So basically, Newman Simmons got a Fred Sr. and an Eric. So Fred Sr., Eric, Grace is the mother. Fred Sr. has Fred Jr. and Tom. Can see. Yeah. Has Fred Jr. and Tom. If we go under like Tom's tree, Tom has a child LD and then 4 kids, JS, JR, LJ, JN. But basically I just did those trees. I mean, I just put them in, I just added them in like the spouses. If I didn't know a spouse, it doesn't matter. For Charting Companion, it is important to have the gender, even if you aren't sure. Otherwise, say if LD, if I didn't have a sex for her, say if she was unknown, it wouldn't be able to generate the children here. I don't know, it's just a quirk of the program. I asked about that and it's like, well, you just got to assign a sex. And for the DNA stuff, I mean, we're not talking like the X and Y DNA stuff here, so it really does not matter. Right now, but the big thing is you have to assign a tag to every person that's taken a DNA test. Family Tree Maker and like Ancestry have built-in fact type called DNA markers. If you are a Roots Magic user, they do have a DNA markers factor or a DNA markers fact, but you cannot use it because they use it specifically for doing like the Y DNA and the mitochondrial DNA. And even that info does not transfer over to Ancestry and stuff. So you can use a custom fact called DNA Kit.
Ron, does that DNA markers, does it matter what you put in that fact field?
Well, what you put in here has to match your match. Whoops, sorry about that. It has to match your actual let me just pull up the match data here. It actually has to match the data in your match file. Now here's one I just did. So kit 1, kit 2, so LD matches JS at this many CM values. Now, using these 3 headings with this, Charting Companion will automatically recognize. So it's like, so it's got to match one of these 2 values. So I just went with the initials, which were the same ones that were provided on this chart.
And where did that chart come from?
This was provided by Linda.
Oh.
You know.
Is there a way that we generate that?
Well, this See, if this was me from Ancestry, I would use a program called DNA Match Manager, and you would get something along the lines. I don't know if you're seeing this.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just expand everything. This is my match file. The source test kit, this is how Ancestry knows me, this 31CC, blah, blah, blah. So on my tree, this is the number I've got on my DNA markers fact.
The column C?
Column H.
Can't see that.
Yeah, because it's the same number, each one. This is me. This is my match file.
Slide it over.
Oh.
Source text.
Yeah.
There. Thank you.
Now, and then here's the amount of DNA I share with each one. Here, let me just let me just open up my tree here real quick. And yeah, see then down here, see I customize the view and I add, well, see here I'm using DNA Kit. At the time I was using DNA markers for another reason.
Does it matter?
No, it does not matter. You can use either. And I mean, you can use DNA Kit for one, DNA markers for the other. It does not matter. Then I like adding it here just because now I can just copy and paste. And then, so for my mother then, so this, let me go back to this. Here's my mother. Here's how Ancestry knows her, the C517B, C01. I go back here, you know, there's that number.
Okay, well, which column on that spreadsheet are you using? The H or the?
C for my matches, because these, H, this is my number. Because this is the same number every column.
Okay.
Because this is how I match this person. I match this person, you know. And then C, this is how I match everyone. So this is my mother. These are my siblings. These are a couple of nieces. These are my dad's half siblings. These are my dad's first cousins. This is a half first cousin. This is my first person. I do not know who she is. All I know is it's related to my half first cousin. So this is one I'm still working on.
And those are their usernames on their DNA match?
Yeah, yeah, this is their names on Ancestry. Well, it's the names that they're displaying.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing those before when I did it a couple years ago.
So, and yeah, but it's like these people, yes, yes, yeah, yeah, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. And these, oh, okay. We removed the 40-minute time limit.
Your first time, they give you an extra 40 minutes. When
Okay.
Mhm.
So I've got most of these. These two, I'm not sure. I'd have to look. But I've got most of them figured out, and they're in my tree and stuff. But the DNA Kit facts have to match what's in your match file to what's in your tree.
And
So-
if you downloaded your DNA match file from Ancestry a couple years ago, and every time it's updated, would you have to re-download it?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I download my match files about once a month.
Okay.
And that's why I like and that's why I really like DNA Match Manager from Heirloom Software.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Dave Lynch. I had a question on DNA Match Manager. I've tried when I guess the last update, the Charting Companion came out, went to see what it's all about, and I am unable to get an Ancestry download. I got all the others, but Ancestry won't download even when you do only one test, and even when you do 10 centimorgans or greater. Are you
Yeah.
able to get them now?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, when you do it, only do like one company at a time.
Yeah, that's what I did. Only Ancestry.
And I have heard if like you have trouble doing like the Ancestry, try Canada.
Okay.
Because, well, all four of these sites, it doesn't matter which site, it's the same login. Your login works on all four sites. And I know, yeah, there was one time it's like, oh, I was having a heck of a time doing it from the US. And so I did it from Canada. And I mean, I did it, well, about 2 weeks ago. And I downloaded all 22 of my kits and not a hitch. And I did it clear down the 6 centimorgan matches. And that was like over 675,000 matches. It took about 16 hours to download.
Wow.
But it did all 22 of my kits. That's why I absolutely love this program for downloading from Ancestry.
And you did those each separately, though?
No,
No?
no. I did Ancestry separately.
So I'm doing it right this minute, and it absolutely is working. So I went to Canada, and it's
Yeah.
all good. I've got 13 tests, and they're all downloading.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for that.
Yep. So,
And
it
charge
has you
for-
log in, and then when you download, yeah, here you can just set your minimum amount, and then here you can select the tests that you want, and there's 3 tests. That one's just a friend.
Is
There's
there a
3.
charge?
There's 3 tests I don't download just because I'm not. Well, it's another Kraus one, but
Is there a charge for the Heirloom software?
no. This is it's a free program and it's available for Windows and Mac. And it's
Okay.
from Heirloom Software. So, but like I said, for downloading Ancestry matches, this is my go-to program. And that's another thing that was at Roots Tech this year. I mean, I've mentioned this to Pierre numerous times. At Roots Tech, he finally got to see it in action, and he finally built in so Charting Companion now recognizes the DNA Match Manager files. So
Oh, good.
otherwise, you'd have to specify how to do it. So anyway, so that's how you get from Ancestry. So now back to this one. Yeah, now and now you may also have. No, did I close that? You may actually have match data for more than one company. No. Oops. So what you can do here is you can have more than one DNA fact type. So here's so here for my mom, like this is how Ancestry knows her. This is how GEDmatch knows her. This is how MyHeritage knows her. This is how Family Tree DNA knows her. So for each company, you know, you'll probably have a different match or match ID.
I see.
How do you
Courses
remember?
are, go ahead.
No.
How do you remember which kit number is for which company? Because you don't have any place to write it down.
I just know now what you can do. See, I just have it displaying just the properties, but you can manage facts. You can't, let me go to this DNA kit fact.
I use Legacy, but
Yeah. Well,
Can't you
I mean, I'm assuming Legacy has something similar.
Can't you add it to the source?
But what you can do is like, say in place here, I mean, I can easily just type in, say, Ancestry.
yeah.
I mean, obviously that place won't resolve, but you know,
You can create
but
a
what you
source
put here for
citation.
like date and place,
Yeah, okay, I'll add the place field back. I left it out because I didn't need it, but I'll add it back. Because when I tried to put it in some other place, then it shows up actually as part of the number, which I don't want. So
yeah.
yeah, play around with it.
So yeah, you can put it in the place field. Like I said, your places, I mean, it's not a real place, but well, in a way it is, but you know, but it won't interfere with, you can do that so you can label it. So that way.
Thank you.
Either that or you could put it as a fact note too.
Yeah, no, that's what, when I tried doing it as a note in Legacy, it wants to attach it to the number, kit number. So that won't work. But I can put the place back in.
Yeah. So yeah, so you can do it that way. So, okay, let's go back to the original case. Okay, so we got the people in, we've attached the DNA fact to everyone, we created the match file, or we've obtained the match file. Now, let me just switch to this. Now to test it, we'll go into Charting Companion. And it's best, Legacy will probably, I believe Charting Companion can directly read the Legacy file.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. So in Family Tree Maker, it's a plugin. It's generally easier just to be on the person when you start it, because then that's your starting person. Otherwise, you can move up or down, you know, go down the kids this way, clicking, or go up to the father.
Can you, like when I was doing it, it was going to just one person and I wanted it actually to go to the couple. Because so the couple is really the MRCA.
Yeah, it is. Because well, it does list their spouse. So.
Okay, I might have to click on something to do that, but that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because now, well, okay, now the DNA matrix is basically the McGuire chart. It's all basically a glorified descendants chart. Because like, see here, if we just do a descendants chart without doing it, you know, basically here's what we got. I mean, we don't have, here's George. I usually do the spouse below. Especially if you got, I mean, this is in layout, you can change that. Like here, you can have it spouse on the same level.
Okay, mine didn't show a spouse, but there must be a spot I can put in for it to show a spouse, I guess.
Well, you'd have to have the spouse in the tree, as long as the spouse
Yeah.
is in the tree.
Yeah, the spouse is in the tree, but it didn't show. When,
Okay, then that's there is an option on here. You probably want it to say all descendants because you can tell it to omit spouses. That option might be checked.
okay.
So, because if I'd say omit spouses, then it will omit spouses. And then it gets really weird having the spouse on the same level. So, but yeah, so.
How
You
do
can
you
do it that
change the spouse to be on a different level?
Pardon?
How did you change it so that the spouse was below?
Oh, that's under layout here. You got the change your top-down spouse on same level. Spouse,
Okay.
spouse
Didn't know there was
below.
an option.
I do that because, well, like I said, back on, where my grandma is the oldest of 11 kids. So you got 11 kids, 11 spouses, sometimes maybe even some more spouses, couple marriages. Sometimes it can get difficult reading exactly who's the child and who's the spouse. Having the spouse below kind of eliminates that.
Is there a way, like I don't care about the spouse for mine because it's just a DNA one, but I do want the spouse on the top. Is there a way to do that? I saw one there. It said eliminate spouse on bottom level or something. First generation, or it says include spouse last generation.
Yeah,
Is that
last generation. That would be
bottom? Okay.
Yeah, that would only be like for down here. So yeah, probably yeah. Cause see, like one thing I was even contemplating, cause on that initial this initial graphic, I was actually thinking of just creating one person, just saying Newman-Simmons. Just make it listed as like one person for the example. But that was just an example. But one other thing you can do on Charting Companion. Oh no, wait, no, never mind. I was thinking of a different program. So no, forget I even said that. But anyway, so this is the way the tree looks. Now, if we add the DNA stuff, we tell it to display the DNA matrix. We will add the file. Here it's example A. And then here you can tell the options. If you've got something where you've got like the segment data, like, okay, on chromosome 1, you share this much data, and chromosome 2, you share this much. That's where you can check these first two items. That can be handy. The show relationship, that's good. So it'll tell you how exactly you're related. The show probability, you should definitely do that for the first start, especially if you're going to be using the simulator. Afterwards, you don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to show the X chromosome, you can. And then typically you just tell it to just display the data with just people with the DNA kit. This kid is already basically anonymized, but if like you were going to say post something on a website or a group saying, hey, I've got a problem with this, you can say anonymize it, and then it will just display the initials. And so
Before you go away from that, the endogamy adjustment, how do you adjust for endogamy? What percentage would you use?
well, it depends upon what you feel, how much the data is inflated. Because right now, basically it's going to divide by right now 1. So basically, it's not going to make any change.
Mhm.
If you feel the values are doubled, you're going to change that to 2. If you think, okay, they're maybe 50% higher, you're probably going to change that to like 1.5.
Okay.
You know, that's something that you're definitely going to have to do some tweaking with. But okay, and then, well, once you're happy with the settings, and then like I said, you can play with like the layout, size of boxes, you know, colors. You know, I've just got like gender on here right now, but you can do lineage, generations, you know, you can play with fonts, title, border, you know, you can set a background image. You know, you can tell what facts to display. The cousin smart, that's it. Well, if you go back far enough, we'll all have where some cousins, a second cousin is married another second cousin, maybe a little closer, maybe a little further. But if you do a descendants chart, you know, where you're going to get like a line's duplicated, well, this will stop that, and it'll say, okay, see over here, you know. Yeah, okay, back here, okay, we're gonna just do this chart. And then here we go. Let me just kind of zoom this out some. So we got George, Marianne. Now you'll see some data here is overlapped here, because when a parent and child have tested, that's going to happen, but you can just click on one and just slide it over. And then that data will move, then that will just slide it over, you know, so you can read everything. Everything looks pretty good, except for we got a few red flags here. Now, this is one thing I've talked with Pierre, because these values are technically possible. They're on the low end, but he flags them as not possible. Well, they are possible. They just aren't probable. They're on the lower end spectrum. If you haven't seen this, the shared CM project, this is a nice one to see. So now if we go back here, like see for a second cousin at 64 centimorgans, second cousin, well, 64 is possible, but it's definitely on the low end. And if we type in 64 up here, a second cousin, yeah, it's down to like a 0.3%, you know, so it is possible. But, and just like that. This half nephew though was a little discerning at 397, because if we go here, half nephew, they're saying that is not possible at all. So we just now, and we also have to take into account this was on Ancestry. Ancestry has this timber formula. So they'll kind of degrade certain values. I'm not exactly sure how it works. It's designed to like rule out common segments that can just be there by coincidence. But if we look at this other match data, okay, Virginian WR, well, those are two wives. PM and BF, they should be half siblings according to this. Well, if we follow this down, FM and BF, they share 1648 centimorgans. Well, 100%, yep, they're definitely half siblings. FM and AM, yep, they're definitely, AM is definitely a child of FM. And A is definitely the son of BF, and BF is definitely the son of B. But now if we look at, see how AM here, oops, matches A and B, they're half first cousins. 259 and 174, they're half first cousins. You can see like 1%, 10% chance. They're definitely on the lower end spectrum. So, I mean, it's kind of like, yes, you get 50% of your DNA from your mom and dad, but that doesn't mean you get 25% from each of your grandparents. So, I mean, I'm thinking that this is still a half nephew. It's just that AM got probably a lot more of her father or like her grandparents' DNA, or a lot less of this Fred's DNA, probably more of her Virginia's from FM. And A and B probably got a lot more of their WR's DNA than Fred's. So, but now the conundrum is now when we do the simulator, because if we go back here, because then the whole situation here is, let me slide this over. We're trying to find out where this A, B, and AP fit in. And all they know is that they're half sisters. They share the same father. The father was adopted, born in 1970 in Chicago, doesn't know anything about his biological family. But they know how AP and AB, well, they match just about everyone on this chart. So they're obviously related. So before we run the simulator, we have to resolve this. And we can do it one of two ways. Well, one way is to try to find some way, because maybe this tree is incorrect. Well, I'm thinking this tree is correct. It's just a genetic fluke, basically. But we still have to resolve it. So we're down to two ways. We can either like tweak these results, maybe artificially inflate them, or we can just erase these results so that they don't show up. I did it two ways where I've kind of I just nudged these values up a little bit so that they are so that Charting Companion thinks they're possible. And I've also said, well, let's just eliminate those three match values. And if you click on them here, that's AM to BF in example A.CF. Well, AM to JR and AM to C. I go into that match file. So there's JR to AM. I just delete it. And what I did is then I just saved this as a different file name. And I'll just show you then. Rather than example A, I did it. I deleted them and then I put them in as example D. And basically now, basically I just eliminated those three values. So now when we do this, basically there's no red flags. All the other data is there, just no red flags. Oh, and while I am here, let me just, if you do have a file where, say, you add it and Ancestry says, hey, or Charting Companion says, hey, I do not understand this file. As a matter of fact, here, let me just add a file here. Because I got one where I manually did one from GEDmatch. No, sure. That one, let me go back. Let me go to, oh yeah, see I've got these header files. Let me just blow away that header file real quick. Let me add that one. All of a sudden, oh, hey, I don't understand that file. Well, if you click on it, click view, it's going to give you that message again. It's going to show you the first few lines, and then basically you can manually assign them. Well, okay, this one is her kit 1. This one's her kit 2. I mean, it seems obvious, but some of them aren't. You need at least 3 fields, the kit 1, kit 2, and then the centimorgans. And then this toll CM, that's the centimorgans. And now Charting Companion will recognize it. And likewise, kit 1, so for the match file for, okay, this is a second cousin of mine. This H12, this would be for her. Then this RG, or, well, that RG, that's the second kid of hers. See, here's like my mom. See, that was at A417525. This is my sister. Here's me, that's AD. You just assign these kits to the known people in your tree. So that's how you can take an unknown file and do it. So, okay, so anyway, so now we got the tree happy right now, ready for the simulation. Now, I'm going to close this, go back to the tree here. Now I have to put in this father and AB and AP. And I kind of already did that. This Newman Simmons is the home person. I've already added it, so now this father, and like it says, there's no direct relationship. So this is like an isolated tree within the tree itself. And I added this father just by doing an add, and I told it to say, just add an unrelated person. And then I put in basically what I knew. Born 1970 in Chicago. And then he's got 2 wives. Well, I don't know if he had wives. All I know is he had 2 daughters, A, B, AP. So I just put, okay, AB is with the AP mother, and AP mother, I just called it. So, and then AB, I gave that DNA kit fact, AB, AP had AP. So, I mean, if I go into Charting Companion, well, I don't need to do it that way. If I just go here, I mean, it's a very simple tree here. Father, 2 daughters, and so they're half siblings. So, I mean, so it's just an isolated tree. So, now I want to try to place, I want to try and find now, I mean, we don't have any DNA data on the father. On that father, but just on the AB and AP we do. So we're not gonna, we want to, we don't want to try to place AB or AP. What we're gonna do is try to place their father. I mean, if we knew who the father's father was, I mean, we'd try to build up their tree as much. We'd try to just build it up as much as we can. But as far as we know, all we know is their father. So, so we're going to try to place their father, and odds are, you know, it's not going to be from Charles. It might be from a parent or a grandparent. And she gave me other data. Linda gave me other data later on, so I do know that it's up on this line and not like, say, on the Simmons line. Well, technically she just gave me names, so that this George might be the parent of Simmons. I don't know, but anyway. And even if you don't know who they are, you can just put in like blank placeholders, like say like in any grandparent, any great grandparent. So anyway, I'm going to start the tree from up here. I'm going to start up Charting Companion again. DNA matrix, we're going to do that. Now I'll go over here to the DNA simulator. And then now here it's going to have some guesswork. Okay, figure, okay, what was the minimum parent age, maximum years per generation? This max generation is good because now we're starting, okay, back on this chart here, from the Newman-Simmons down to their kids, that's already 6 generations down. And we're starting 2 generations up. So that's 8 generations that we're starting up. So you gotta do enough generations to go all the way down to the last of your matches. So I just did 1 extra, you know, just to be on the safe side. Parent gen, and it's important to tell it to insert people, because sometimes, you know, odds are you don't have everyone in your tree, and especially for what they call like the NPEs, or non-paternal events, or misattributed parental events, where someone might have had an affair or whatever. What this will do is this will insert people into your tree as possibilities.
They add them to your family tree maker tree, or just?
No, just to the, it, nothing changes your tree at all. So as a matter of fact, with Family Tree Maker 2019, it's physically impossible for any plugin to make any changes to your tree. No, it's just, it inserts them like internally for its own use. You can specify the gender if you want. And then here you tell it, okay, now here, who do you want to place? Now this father is a person I want to place. And you can like start typing in, because this tree doesn't have that many people. Like my main tree has like 20,000 people because I've got numerous extended branches in it. Whoops, and then I selected the wrong person. Okay, why am I not seeing parent?
Oh, hello there.
Oh, that's because I don't want parent, I want father. And I'm still not seeing. You know what, here, I'm gonna just get out of this real quick. There we go. Okay, so now we'll just tell it to perform the simulation. Now it's running the simulations, and this is relatively quick. If we just scroll all the way to the bottom, here it said 3 scenarios it came up with. And so here we go with, you kind of start looking for inserted. So here at this Fred Senior saying, okay, possibly he had another, well, spouse. It could just be he had an affair or something. So this inserted person could be half sibling to Fred Jr. and Tom. And then and like I said, they kind of defaults to a male. I mean, it could easily be a female. But then this father could be a grandchild of that person. And then it gives, I mean, all these values are still the same. These are the same recorded values from the DNA matches, and said, okay, TS to AB is 16, okay, would be a third half cousin, AP third half cousin, JN over here, second half cousin once removed, you know, on down 271, half first cousin twice removed, you know, so that's one possibility. Another one here would be, okay, basically a sibling to Fred Sr. and Eric from Charles and Marianne. And then father would be a grandchild of theirs. And then likewise then shows the percentages. Then last week, then basically here it would be, okay, through another woman, whether he had another spouse, another wife, or he had an affair, you know, and basically a child, grandchild of that, and basically it would be the half cousin relationship. So, I mean, it doesn't give you anything definitive, but at least it gives you points where you can focus your research. And then you may also find more info that could eliminate some info, or that could eliminate a scenario or two, or might even open up some more. But that's in a nutshell how that can happen. And then these files, then let's just go back here. You tell it where it goes. I just have it go into my documents directory. Which are here, and basically it'll just create an HTML file called DNA simulation, and then here are the 3 files. So if you just click on it, okay, there's one simulation. There's the other simulation. So if you'd want to like send it to friends or, you know, a cousin, say, well, what do you think of it? You can. Or if you say, well, this one is poppycock, you know, you could just delete it. You know, say, well, that one, say, oh, no, no way. I mean, you could still do that. Then when you bring it up, it's well, that image just isn't available. But, so, and then if you do want to save them, copy them out of there, because if you perform the simulation again, you know, maybe you might want to tweak it, you know, maybe even just saying, well, maybe something when they're a teenager, you know, and maybe say, hey, I just happen to know, maybe I know this family had a history, maybe they had kids a lot later in life, you know, maybe, you know, it might do, oh, whoops. I forgot to tell it to actually perform this. I just hit preview. I told it not to perform the simulation. Yeah, see, well here, it, just by tweaking those values, it came up, it only came up with 2 scenarios. As basically, okay, the sibling to Fred Sr. and Eric, and this is probably, yeah, the half sibling. So there's still like an art to it more than a science, but likewise back seeing now my documents directory, you see the previous DNA simulation files were wiped out. So it's like save them or copy them to another place if you do want to save them. So, are there any questions on this? I mean, it's kind of a lot to take in. I mean, I know this kind of initially came out about the same time as the What Are the Odds tool came out. And at the time, I had already figured out doing the DNA matrix charts, and then I figured, well, it's not that much more to do the simulator rather than learn something completely brand new. So,
So you always do the matrix first, so you have all the data, and then you do the simulator?
yeah, because you want to make sure that there are no red flags, because if let's go back to this original, because if there's any red flags, no scenario would have ever been possible. Let's go back to this original example here. Now let's just go back to this original example. So we got those 3 red flags here. And now if we go to the simulator, let's even change those back to those initial values. Tell it to perform simulation. Since we've got those 3 red flags, we're not going to get any, it's going to come back saying no simulations or no scenarios are possible. And as long as in our known tree there's red flags, that will no scenario will ever work. So you have you have to so you have to make sure that there's no red. You know, I mean, if you're sure, like, if you're sure this is correct, and you do want to print it, you know, without it, then you can say, okay, don't show the probability. And then, yeah, then it doesn't show the, then it won't show the red marks at all or the probabilities, but then they'll say, yep, this is how much we share. But you just can't use those exact values for the simulator. So, and that's the same thing also, like if you've got endogamy, because you're going to get artificially higher values. Because on like my family tree, well, that Sarah Halverson, her and her first cousin, I have to basically I have to eliminate their match data to each other if I run a simulation, because they're actually double cousins. Because not only are their fathers, their fathers are brothers, their mothers are sisters. So they share a lot more data, or they share like, I don't know, like 1,300 or something centimorgans. So it goes out of the bounds of a first cousin. So so I have to just manually remove that. Now Pierre is, once he's done with the Mac conversion, he is working, that is going to be his next thing that he's going to work on, is for how people are related in more than one way, so that won't come up as a red flag. So, but his priority is to get the Mac version done first. So any other questions?
No, that was a good demonstration for me, because I'm quite new to the whole charting companion.
Yeah.
But I'm working on a situation now where I know there's this couple that is in the family tree of this person, and but the person was adopted. So this simulator, I guess, would help to figure that out, what the options are.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, it's like the more match data you have, the better.
Yeah, I don't have very much on this one. On one line, I don't have very much match data at all.
Yeah, and some it's like I was able to do it, you know, with my aunt. It's my uncle's wife, because her mother never ever told her who her father was, and like I said, well, she's 79 years old, and it's like she's got one half sister. So there really is no other DNA test, you know, for her to take. You know, maybe some of her kids could test, that could help, but that there are some first cousins on her mother's side, so that can help rule out matches. So I know, okay, these are definitely on her unknown father's side. But there were like 5 like close matches. They all shared each other. So okay, these are, and didn't share any with her first cousin. So it's like, okay, these have definitely got to be on her dad's side. so I contacted them, all 5 of them, just saying, do you know how you're related to each other? Well, 2 of them responded back, and it turned out that 4 of them, well, I found out that their mother-daughter pairs and the mothers were half sisters, and they shared a common father. Well, so I was able to build out a tree that way and actually be able to build out a little bit more of a tree. And then that actually, so now I knew how she matched, 4 people in a known structure. And then that really helped narrow down. I think I got it down to 7 scenarios. Then later on, we did find actually her half brother. Then I got he managed to share his data, his DNA results with me. And I've narrowed those 7 scenarios down to like 5. So I'm still not exactly sure how those 4 women fit. That other 5th one, I mean, still hasn't contacted me, but I know how he matches her half brother. But that guy still hasn't contacted us. So, but with that extra data, it's like, okay, we're down to a few less scenarios. So, I mean, more you wait, like more match data comes in. So it's just kind of a game of attrition, and you just wait it out. But so yeah, just contact the matches, see if they know how they match each other, and build up those trees. So it's like, as long as you can find out how they match them, and like in several people in a known structure. So
yeah, no, I've got some matches for her, and all the other ones are the children of the matches. So it's not adding any value to have the children in, because obviously they just carry the DNA of their parents. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it can kind of, yeah, it's kind of limited, but it can eliminate some possibilities as to, how, okay, if this person is like a second cousin, say assuming this unknown is, say, a possible, say, second cousin, then their child should be, the DNA should show as a second cousin once removed, because I mean, even among siblings, there's leeway as to how they match. And, one sibling can give, okay, well, it might be these different possibilities, or another one, give others. And, what this does is it looks for a situation that satisfies all the constraints. So, but yeah, I do agree. It's minimal usefulness to have like a child, but because it's always better to go up than down, so to speak, as far as the older generation, because you're kind of further up the genetic food chain. So.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to leave. I've got another meeting scheduled for 6:30, and I got to eat some dinner.
Okay.
I do appreciate your presentation. I just now getting into DNA. We've done a lot of DNA testing. We don't have a lot of missing people in our trees, so we haven't tried to really, or don't really have a need to try to do DNA matching. But it is a fascinating approach, and it's about all I've done is taken about 10 cousins, and they all match up on the DNA matches, and they all seem to fit all the data.
Yeah.
But we're not looking for any people, so I haven't really needed to do that. But I do appreciate your presentation because it's very interesting how Charting Companion has been changed, and the simulations are just an intriguing way of trying to figure out, where the missing links are. So it's something that I intend to get into,
Yeah.
although I don't really have a need for it right now. So I appreciate your presentation.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, because how this actually, I don't know if this is exactly how he did it. This is a presentation Pierre does. Because Pierre, this is the creator of Charting Companion here. Whoops.
Yeah.
And this is him and his 6 other cousins. And his and he didn't realize this until they did the DNA test. Him and all of his cousins tested. And if you look at how all these, they all do, except for when they get down to his Aunt Ruby, these, all match here, except for when they get all to here, these all of a sudden match at a very low value, and to some where, okay, these are not possible at all. And then here it turned, well, here I see it doesn't have the spouse, but here Alfred, and here they even have the birth certificate. So Alfred is Alfred is the birth certificate. Even says Alfred is the father of Ruby. But Pierre was talking with his cousin Bernice, their grandmother Marie. She came over from Scotland to Canada when she was like 17 alone. And if you see, her daughter Ruby was born in 1910. Well, this birth certificate, if you look, this is dated, 1912. So this is kind of like a birth certificate after the fact. So, and they basically determined that, well, Mary got pregnant by some other guy. And then somehow, then later married Alfred, and Alfred basically agreed, signed, whatever, saying, yes, he was the father of it. But by doing that, then all of a sudden, these DNA values didn't change, but by saying, well, now that they're half first cousins, well, now the DNA now makes sense. So it's a lot more consistent. So.
Well, I say I don't have any of those kind of situations.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do. There are not any kind of recent ones, but
Yeah.
if I go back to 1800s, there's all kinds of examples of where things don't match up, and out of wedlock children, and the standard deal. In fact, I'm working on one for my wife, but it's 1850s kind of stuff, and so trying to go back that far, tracing DNA becomes really, really hard, I think.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Just all I can do is go by, and plus all of these are in Czech Republic, so they're the records are kind of more difficult to get.
Yeah, my great grandmother's from there, so yep, I know.
Well, I'm gonna.
I also have to go, John.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I also have to go. I have another Zoom meeting at 4 o'clock my time, and I
Yeah.
have to read some paper, but thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. So,
Nita, did you get your question answered about paper size? Ah, must have her.
oh, she's muted.
Yeah, let me see if I can get her to.
Here,
There you
can you
are.
talk now, Anita?
Yeah. I did not have my question answered, but it's not germane to the topic. It seems like because it's not related to DNA.
Well, it's about charting companion, so
Well, the last reunion, I went and made a chart for the whole family. There was 10 siblings.
yeah.
And when I took it to the printer, it ended up too small, and I didn't know can I go back in now and change that? I wanted to be able to email the whole thing to people rather than having it on paper. Is that possible?
Oh yeah, because when you let me yeah, because I can let me just yeah, because I mean I've got let me show you let's see what's one. That one's big just because of yeah, because okay. I'm going to share. Yeah, see here's one right here. Let me zoom in because this is my grandma's next sister, second my grandma's the oldest. This is the second oldest, Helen.
Your great aunt.
Yeah, so yeah, she's my great aunt. I've only got one great aunt left, and I found out she agreed to do a DNA test. So as soon as this lockdown's over, I'll be able to get the kit to her. But yeah, it's like yeah, this one I don't have like a lot of pictures on it, but
I didn't put any pictures just to save space.
yeah. But when you do but when you do it, you know, you can specify like the box size, you know, the minimum width, max width.
Mm-hmm.
You choose the size of paper.
Yeah, well, the size of
to a
paper
printer.
doesn't really matter. Oh, hold it, because let me sorry, let me you can see my screen now, I think.
Mhm.
Because when you do a chart here, well, you see here these borders are there, but like let's like say not do this DNA matrix at all. Can't remember, keeps that same border. Click these X's here, it'll automatically like shrink it or increase the size, however you want it. So like these boxes, let's just say I want like 4-inch boxes, or let's just say 3-inch by 3-inch, I don't know, octagon. Say we want a heavy one.
An
Heavy
octagon?
line, you know, stuff like that, you know.
Huh. Okay.
You know, doing this, then, I mean, this will always like fit it to like one page, you know, however you
I see.
change it. This one, like I said, this one doesn't have any pictures in it.
So if I were to send a file to another cousin, can they open it without having Charting Companion?
Well, yeah, because what you do is you'd publish it, then you can save it as like a PDF. It can't be more than like 200 inches long, but otherwise, I mean, you can save it as like a JPEG. You can save it as like a graphic.
Which
In
is
the
the
graphics, I wouldn't save as well. Just a chart itself, you could save as the web HTML. The DNA matrix, I would not save as the web HTML because right now I think it does not do the lines. It only does the chart, and I'm not
JPEG
exactly sure
usually
why. But yeah, you can save it as like a graphic or, like I said, a PDF as long as it's under 200 inches. And I mean, that's like a PDF limit. So, and then, yeah, but it's like I generally save them as PDFs. And then I just keep them in a shared Dropbox folder for my families. And then they can access them whenever they want. And then likewise, I update them then periodically as, oh yeah, someone sent me some updated photos of the kids and stuff like that, and I can update it, or, you know, oh, so-and-so got married, or, you know, we had a new baby, stuff like that, you know.
okay.
Then I can update the reports and the charts and say, okay, well, here they are, go get them if you want them. You know.
Any of that on Facebook?
I don't know if I've got that on Facebook.
I mean, can you share with your cousins on like a Facebook group page?
Oh yeah. Because actually, I do have a private. I got a couple of private family Facebook groups, and if you create a group, there is actually a file section
Yeah.
that you can upload files to, and then they can download.
I didn't know maximum size or limit for Facebook.
I don't really know if there's a limit or not.
Okay.
I think there is, but it would tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. You know, here's, you know, my descendants, and see, then I've got like, okay, here's a descendants with all the Hall family reports and charts, and.
Okay. Oh, you gave your Dropbox address. That's good.
Yeah, I just give the Dropbox address, and then it's like, yep, here's okay. So yeah, see, I do like, okay, individual descendants, you know, Facebook pages, index, outline descendants.
That's a good idea.
Then individual, like here's like the charts. Then I think I've got. Oh yeah, then here's even the DNA matrix one. For how, yeah, and this one I think I've got to update. Yeah, this one I've got to update because I've got more DNA data for how we're all related. And yes, and see here, you see multiple lines for people, because this is like, okay, this is how we match at this company, this is how we match at this company, you know, because they all match slightly different. So, but, so, yeah, so.
To put the photos on the chart, do you pick a thumbnail? Or is there
they're just, they're, it pulls the profile photo from your tree.
Okay.
So yeah, so whatever you got as a profile photo.
Okay.
But then in in any group, you've got a file section too. And I did start doing files here, but then with all these files here, it's like all of a sudden I said, to heck with it. I'm just gonna put them in a shared directory, and because otherwise then going through updating, because you go through and say, okay, upload revision, and
So it's easier to do it on Dropbox, is what you're saying?
well, yeah, because it's just a folder, and then it's like you just update them, and then they're always there. And
Okay.
because otherwise, and like I said, if it's only a few files, it's no big deal. But it's like, I mean, here I do the master. Like, here's my master descendants of Clarence Benjamin Hall. This is my great grandpa. This I do a family book creator. I mean, this is like this one's about, I don't know, it's about 400 some odd pages long. These other regular descendants, these are just the regular descendants reports I do in Family Tree Maker.
Okay.
Uh,
So are any of these from Charting Companion, or are these all from Family Tree Maker?
These are Family Tree Maker. Basically, it's the charts.
Okay.
The charts that were in the charts in here. These are all from Charting Companion. Because even like the descendants trees, it's like I just prefer them over the ones even in Family Tree Maker.
Okay.
Well, for one, the descendants chart will not do pictures of a spouse on the descendants chart. Even if you've got the spouse attached, even if you've got the picture of the spouse in the profile photo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's the descendants book, but I don't know. I just prefer Charting Companion's descendants chart. So
Okay, good session.
any other questions? Well, if not, well, thanks, and we can. We'll probably do this again sometime. So, and in the meantime, we'll probably be putting this up so others can view it, so that weren't able to make it. So, but anyway,
Be interesting to see how that works.
yeah. So, yeah, trial run. It's kind of a learning curve for everyone. So, anyway.
Okay, thanks, John.
Okay, thanks for coming, everyone. So.